Okay, I've started the recording.
I think before we start, we have a happy birthday wishes to someone here. Somebody turning over 90, but still spry and alert. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Peter will be joining you on the 11th.
In terms of his birthday?
Yep,
Peter doing okay?
yep. He's
Good.
working.
Can anyone check in on Stan and let us know next time that he's okay?
I'll give him a call.
I just
Thanks.
saw him yesterday. He was fine.
Oh,
Great.
okay.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Saul.
I won't call him.
Gotcha.
I'm surprised he's not on though.
I think it's maybe the mix-up going on with the meeting ID.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. A lot of people are having that problem.
Yeah, I didn't check my email to the last minute. That's why. Me too. And it's a holiday weekend, so he could be having family like y'all are doing.
He made a fuss about letting us know it's his 91st birthday. So we need to sing to him.
You go right ahead.
Oh, no, I need the whole chorus.
Oh, no, not happening.
Voices in the 90s aren't so good. No.
Oh, happy
Birthday
birthday
to
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hank.
Happy birthday
to
you.
Oh, my goodness.
Where is he? I don't see him.
He's
He's-
episode.
He's behind the AppSug
Here he
icon.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Are you there, Hank?
Yep, I'm there. I got to rename myself.
Yes. Did you hear our birthday greeting?
I think he
heard-
turned off
I
his
heard
hearing aids.
something.
Well, we sang happy birthday to you for 91. Don't you say thank you?
All right, there.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a little busy right now, Sammy.
Okay.
Hey, we're up to 13.
Yay.
Amazing. Well, but one's on here twice.
Maybe.
Patricia,
Maybe
Not-
different people.
Well, maybe. Actually, I can't use the Mac, so I don't know if I ever got on with the Mac or not. So
Yeah, you did.
I
No,
did.
not necessarily,
No,
Will.
Sam.
That could be a different Patricia.
Well, you're right. It
There's
could
a
be.
screw up
It
this
could
morning. I
be.
just sent everybody an email with a new link. Try that.
No, it doesn't work. My email doesn't work. It's an Apple problem. I've got to figure it out. I have to call them back. I called too late last night, and so actually I was going to ask you, but I think it's an Apple problem. So, but I don't know why yeah, okay, yeah. But you know
All right,
what?
Stan just called and he's gonna sign on here in a minute or two.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'm hearing somebody, so I think. Let me get back to my email. I was off doing other things.
I got, if that doesn't work, if you don't find your email, I can give you the meeting code and the password.
Yeah, that's how I might get on. I'm trying it that way now.
Okay, Stan. All right, Stan is Gotta sign in. That'll make 16. I think that's,
All
I
right,
think,
What happened to the old codes?
let's say,
What happened to the old codes?
when I signed in to the Zoom link this morning, the seniors computer group was not on the schedule. So I'm using somebody else's link that was. And I'll get this straightened out with Judy Tallur at AppSug when she gets my email.
The
Send
other
it over.
Patricia, is that Patricia Fredericks?
I don't believe so, Will.
Yeah, the Patricia is I think Pat H at iMac. No, maybe not.
No, no.
No, that's Pat's iPhone is. Anyway,
The only other Patricia we have is Patricia Fredericks. She's been on a couple of times before.
all right, I'm going to start the presentation. And we'll see if this works. We'll get rid of some of these black blocks. All right, I think we're ready to go.
I'm gonna hang up the phone and see if I can get my audio going on the Zoom. I haven't got audio going yet.
Okay,
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about some really neat ways you can use Google Lens that can actually make your life easier. And I also have a little anecdote about one of these features because I worked on it when I was an intern at Google years ago. So first off, what is Google Lens? I like to think of it as an AI-driven image search engine. So instead of manually typing in text to search, you just hold your viewfinder over whatever it is you want to search, and Google will perform that search for you. Okay, so now to preface the demos, I feel like anybody who's been watching my videos knows that I work in AI, and I find the way that machine learning and AI have become so ubiquitous really fascinating. And I think everybody has some idea of what machine learning is, or they've at least heard about these concepts because it's in all of the tech that we use. Instagram, YouTube, Amazon, platforms and services that we use every day, whether or not people realize what's going on behind the scenes. AI is trying to give us content that we want to see and recommend products to us that we actually want to buy. And I mean, we can have a debate about the ethics behind these algorithms and what exactly it is they're trying to optimize, and whether or not our lives are actually better with these apps and these algorithms. But part of my overall philosophy on how to go about life is you just have to think for yourself. And it's the whole critical thinking thing I've brought up on my channel before. Kind of like with great power comes great responsibility. And we now have access to such cool technology. So for instance, if YouTube recommends 10 videos to you that you actually want to watch, you can't watch them and then blame the algorithm for making you waste another hour of your life watching these videos, because the algorithm is designed to make you want to keep watching videos. you still have control over your own actions. My point in saying all of this is I'm going to show you some really cool features of an app. And I know it's not perfect. Google is still working continuously to try to improve it. And it can make a lot of tasks that you do every day much easier. But when you use it, just try to think about what's going on behind the scenes. Think about what it's actually doing, what it's capable of doing, and I think you'll know better how you can actually use it to your advantage. Okay, so now let's get started. To access Google Lens, I use the Google app. If you have a Pixel, I think it's built right into your camera viewfinder, but if you open the app, there's a camera icon right by the search bar. And if you open that up, the Google Lens viewfinder will be ready to process whatever it sees in that viewfinder. You can also run Google Lens on the photos that you have in your Google Photos app. So instead of running Lens on stuff as you see it in real time, you can also run things on old photos that you've taken. First, I want to go through all of the stuff it can do with text. Google Lens has a powerful optical character recognition engine, and so whenever you hold your viewfinder over some text, it'll do its best to try to find spaces and the right formatting so that it can actually read in and interpret the text. This also works on handwritten text. So if you've taken notes for a class or something, you can scan it in with Lens and copy it into a digital document and have a digital copy of your notes. Basically, for any type of text, handwritten or not, Lens will try to recognize it and interpret it. Once Google Lens recognizes the text, you can copy it and do whatever you want with it. Put it into a note or another document or something. You can also scan a business card. So all you have to do is hold your camera viewfinder over a business card and it will try to recognize the first name, last name, email address, and it'll give you this importable contact so that you don't have to manually type everything in. This is actually the feature that I worked on when I was an intern there. Basically, when I was there, they already had a really great optical character recognition engine, but to be able to actually assign labels like this is the first name, this is the last name, this is the phone number and email address, etc., we actually had to train a neural network to be able to assign the correct labels so that you'd actually be able to import it as a contact. You can also scan a QR code or a URL or even a URL hidden within a bunch of other text. Google will recognize that it's a URL and it will give you a link to open it up in a browser. Maybe you see a website posted somewhere or in an ad, and you don't have to manually type it into your browser if you use Google Lens. You can also scan a phone number or an email address, and Google Lens will recognize that it's a phone number or email, and it'll give you the option to call or text or email someone. If you take a photo of road signs, I found this to work sometimes, not always, but if you're at an intersection or something and you want to send a pin to someone to let them know your location, if Google recognizes those street names, it can also open up a pin in Google Maps, and you can copy that pin and send it to one of your contacts. If you go to a restaurant and you hold your viewfinder over the name of that restaurant, you can also bring up ratings and reviews and news about that restaurant, even a menu if that's available. Similar to getting the restaurant reviews, you can also hold your viewfinder over the cover of a book and it can bring up summaries and ratings and reviews and even links to buy the book. You can also scan a ticket for an event, and you can add that event to your iCalendar or Google Calendar. So they also have the software to be able to recognize dates and times. You can translate text, and you can even get the pronunciations of things with the listen button. Say you're in a different country and you see road signs that you don't recognize, or restaurant names or menu items that you don't recognize or know how to pronounce. Lens could help you a lot in communicating with the locals or just getting a better understanding of where you are. You can also scan tracking numbers and track those packages, which makes it so much easier than manually typing in all however many digits there are to a tracking number. And lastly, with the text, I think this is really cool. It can even solve math problems. So even if they're handwritten, you can use the homework option and hold your viewfinder over the math problem that you're trying to solve. And if it can read the equation, it'll give you the solution. Okay, so now on to the non-text stuff. You can really use Lens to recognize just random objects. If you're walking around and you see an animal or a plant that you don't recognize, or something that you just want to learn more about, you can hold your viewfinder over that thing and Google will try to classify that object for you and give you more information about it. A friend of mine sent me a video and a photo a long time ago of this puppy that his family just got named Oreo, and I asked him what breed Oreo was when I could have just used the Lens app to try to classify it myself. With the photo he sent me, Google was close. He told me that it was a mix between a Maltese and a poodle, and the results from Google were like all of the breeds around those two, but it didn't get the mix exactly right. You can also use this object recognition feature to find items that you might want to purchase. Maybe you're walking around or you're watching TV and you see someone wearing some shoes or some article of clothing that you really like. If you snap a photo and you run it through Lens, if they can find the exact product or similar products, they'll show all of those results to you, and you don't even need to know the name of the product you want to buy to be able to search for it. Or if you're just in a store and you see a product that you really like and you want to know whether or not you can get it for a lower price online or at a different store, Lens can also give you all of that information. You can also use it when you're at the grocery store. Maybe you see an item or an ingredient that you want to buy, but you're not quite sure how to use it or how to cook it properly. Or you're just looking for a recipe inspiration. Just open the Lens app and run that product through Lens. It'll tell you what it is, nutrition information if that's available, recipe ideas for how to use it, and more. You can also use it to get product reviews. So like if you're looking at an item where there's so many options to choose from, or if there's a new item that you're curious about, you can just use Lens and it'll show you ratings and reviews and even show you whether or not you can get it for a lower price online. I also saw this really odd thing when I was in the grocery store in their cake case. It was a cake that was shaped like a hamburger. I have no idea who's buying this, but I was curious to see whether or not Google would know that it's a cake and not a hamburger. So I ran it through Lens and I could not believe that it knew that it was a hamburger cake. And not only that, it brought up recipes to show me how I could make this hamburger cake myself. I found it very hard to believe that many people have made hamburger cakes or have even thought to make something like that. I feel like for me, Lens could be a really great assistant to have in the grocery store. So you see something that looks interesting to you, you can learn how to cook it before you commit to buying it. Or if you see something that looks good, you can also learn how to make it yourself. This goes for things that you eat in restaurants too. If you have a photo of something that you've eaten in a restaurant that you found really delicious and you want to recreate it yourself, try running it through Lens and maybe they'll give you a recipe for you to be able to make it yourself at home. And lastly, if you are at a famous landmark or a historic building, or if you have a photo of one, you can run that through Lens and you can get its location in maps. You can get directions on how to get there. You can see ratings and reviews, news about that place, information on its history, and so much more. I know this technology is only going to keep getting better. Google keeps adding more visual data to their database and improving their models. So for instance, even though they couldn't get that exact dog breed correct earlier, in a couple months, couple years maybe, I think it'll get it right. When I was working there, they contracted people to annotate images for them, meaning these people just labeled images based off of what was in them. For the business card thing, I just had to design the interface properly so they could label things as first name, last name, email address, phone number, etc. So I would show the annotators images of business cards along with the words and the numbers that the optical character recognition software had found. And I would have the annotators just label all of these word entities as first name, last name, phone number, email address, street address, country, city, and so on. I also read an article that said that now they're using AI to automatically label images. So you can imagine the more stuff that they get labeled, the better their models are going to be. And there are definitely situations where it's just easier to do a manual text search. But I hope that me going through all of these different ways you could possibly use the Lens features gives you some idea of the possibilities of AI and ways that you could use these features to your own advantage. I hope you enjoyed this video and found the information at least somewhat helpful or interesting. If you did like it, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Oh boy.
Wow.
There we are.
Wow.
There's one simple, love them or hate them, you have to admit, Google has done an amazing job with Google Maps and how it integrates with the entire Google ecosystem. I'm constantly blown away by different things that we can do with Google Maps. So today I thought I would share with you what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Hush. We got an extra. We got an extra demonstration. Okay, I need to go back to.
Hello, and welcome back to my
There we go. I need to put that on our website so that those few people who didn't get here can go back and watch it themselves. We got all the way up to 19 participants.
Nice.
Don Raymond has his hand up.
Yes, I got this audio set right? I think so. Was that slowed down, or was
Yes.
there a speed control thing? How did you do the speed control on that?
I slowed it down because she's a little hard to understand.
But how did you slow it down? What did you do to slow it down?
You go down to, let's
You
see.
go to the gearbox. You go to the gearbox on YouTube. Click on the gearbox and you will see the options of what you can do in settings. There's a playback speed, subtitles, quality, all of that under the YouTube.
Okay, so the magic is start with the gearbox.
Yep, right under the
Thanks.
video. You got it.
And
Yeah, I just want to say that I really appreciated it being slowed down because I know in the past some of the presenters have been speaking so fast you kind of get lost. Is that Google Lens something you would download on your telephone or on your computer?
Your cell phone.
On your cell phone. Okay.
They
Okay.
do have a desktop version, but the desktop version, according to them, doesn't work as well
Oh, okay.
as the app.
Okay, yeah, I was just playing around during the presentation and I found when I hit the photo deal, there was a button for lens. So
Gotcha.
I've just got to kind of learn how to work.
Oh, good.
Okay, thank you.
all right, Stanley has his hand up.
I have found that there's a lot of features on the Google Photos on your phone that are not available on the computer. And that's one of them. Google Photos, Google Lens is not available that I could find on the desktop version. You have to do that on your phone, which I find sort of a nuisance.
Will?
Yeah, I'm blown away with this computer technology. It is going so fast that I'm having trouble keeping up with it. I was watching a old science fiction movie the other night called Megan, I think, or something like that. And it was about a female scientist who was working on robotics and actually developed this doll that was like we have now, a robot, and had it interface with her niece or whomever. And of course, it got out of hand, as we've
Hello,
been
and welcome
told.
back to my channel.
And it was very interesting that as I watched it, I said, you know, we're very close to this sort of thing happening. Back then, when it was actually done as a science fiction movie, it was way in the future. But I think the future is almost here. So it's very interesting what's going on.
Willie?
Yeah, there's one feature that she didn't mention that I use all the time, and that's you can, when you do a Google Lens of text and it says copy the text, it'll say copy this to your computer, and it'll automatically put it into your clipboard on your computer on your, my case, it's a laptop. But if your computer is linked with your phone by your Google account, it's just an easy thing to transfer it to your computer that way.
Okay. Say again how you did that, Willie?
Well, if you use, she showed in the beginning how you can well, you don't have to take a picture. You just set your viewfinder on text, and then you choose text underneath there. It will highlight the text, then you say copy text, and then on my phone, it comes up with an option of copy to computer. And since my computer uses the same Google account as my phone, it just copies it directly to my computer. If I'm close enough, it's by Bluetooth probably.
And
then
where
just
does it go in your
copies it to the
computer?
clipboard on my computer, so I don't have to do any kind of transfer from my phone to my computer. It's just there. And then I copied it to a spreadsheet or a Word document or whatever.
Okay, thanks.
Because I've used it for handwriting. I've taken whole 20-page handwritten documents, and it gets it 90% correct. There's a few mistakes, but it's amazing.
Sammy?
Referring to Will's remark on robotics, I thought you might be interested to know that we have 2 robots in our dining room now to assist the servers. In the kitchen, the tray is put on, the tray of the robot. The robots come scooting in to your table and announces, waiting for the server to pick up. The server comes over, picks up the tray and serves you. So it's kind of fun.
Wow.
I've seen that in restaurants,
Have you?
not live, but I've seen a video of a dessert cart that will come around and
Huh?
offer you all sorts of desserts.
Mm.
Yeah, the Chinese restaurant in UTC has a little robot that comes around to the table with food.
Okay.
Pat?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have a thing with the lens, but the next thing I had to ask is every now and then I put I raise my hand and then it'll disappear and I'm not totally sure why. So I wind up back at the end, but this time it kind of stayed up. So if anybody has any idea how that happened, because I made sure the arrow was somewhere else. Oh, now it says, looks like you're done talking, so we'll lower your hand in 4 seconds. Well, I'm not done talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there it goes. It's just like,
Wow.
Yeah, I've had that happen and I always wonder what's going on. Is that the fact that if you raise your hand and you don't talk, that it stops you?
I guess, I don't know. I've never had that before. It's just within the last couple of, I updated my, yes, now it's doing it again. Looks like you're done talking. I haven't even started. But actually what I wanted to say though, other than that issue, was that the way I use the Google Lens is if I'm out walking or, and I see a flower and I Mission Trails, I'll search for what it is on Google Lens, but then I'll do a screenshot. Once they find out what it is, I'll do a screenshot of what it is. And therefore I have the picture of the flower and the name of it underneath so that I don't forget it or whatever. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out. And if anybody has any way of doing the lower the hand, I guess they automatically lower your hand now, whether you want to or not. I'll see if it lowers it now. I'm talking. That was my idea.
Well, I just hope that artificial intelligence hasn't taken over the Zoom and they're now just censoring people. That's a joke.
Oh, well, it hasn't lowered my hand and I'm kind of done talking. So I don't know.
Pat, I just want to mention that I think Hank or Stan or somebody, I think it was Hank maybe, who brought up a number of weeks ago, and I've never found this feature on my Zoom app. I seem to be maybe not among the majority here, but he said there was another option now where you could wave your hand and it would raise your hand or lower your hand. I have not seen that capability in my Zoom app, but maybe that might be what's affecting yours. I don't know. I just looked in the settings. I haven't come across any new setting that lowers it in 4 seconds or something, but maybe it's on your Zoom app.
I found it before and did a presentation on it, but I can't find it now. I don't remember. If you go to, if I go to more, no, if I go to reactions, wait a minute. There's a little caret. Yep, here we go. There's a little caret to the right of reactions. Look down at your taskbar of Zoom and find reactions, and you should see a caret to the right. What I call a caret, it's a little symbol that points up. If you click on that, I get 2 choices. Play a chime for raised hands, which is not checked, and recognize hand gestures, which is checked. And that means that if one of you wants to say something, just hold your hand up and wave it, and your raised hand symbol should come up in the left-hand corner of your box. Willie, would you demonstrate? Wave your hand in front of your face a lot. Nope.
And Hank, I'm just saying, I've never seen that caret to the right of the reactions button on my Zoom app on either Windows or Mac. So I don't know why it's inconsistent from computer to computer, but that's why I've never been able to do that.
What version are you running, Saul?
I'm running the latest version, okay? I think it's 5.15.2 or something.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
what I'm
not-
running too.
But
That's
it's not
mine.
the version, because this came back, this occurred in prior versions that
Okay.
Hank mentioned this, and I thought it was an April Fool's joke because he did it in April. But he said, no, it works on his, and Stan said it worked on his. And I said, okay, I guess I just don't have it on mine. And sometimes that's the case with Zoom.
Well, I have it on mine.
Maybe
but
this
it-
recognize hand gestures is not for everybody at the meeting. It's just for me when I check
No, it's on
Mine.
mine too.
the
Well,
box.
I do have it on mine, and underneath though is not what you said. I have what my choices are: animated reactions, frequently used, and a bunch of smileys. I don't have anything else. And then the smileys, I don't know, I haven't been able to go down to the bottom of the smileys. But then it has skin tone down here, and you know,
Well,
but
you're clicking on a different part.
no, I'm clicking on that little carrot thing.
Yeah, that's. If
Well,
you.
there's a little plus above the, there's
if
a
you
little
click
plus
on
above the
face
smiley
of-
face.
Of the little
Right.
animated creature in reactions, you get all those things that Pat just said.
Right,
But if you go just to the right, and if
Correct.
you have a carrot and click on that, you get two choices.
correct.
Play a chime for I'm gonna click that. Whoops, wait a minute. Yeah, play a chime for raised hands. Somebody raise your hand and we'll see whether,
Oh. Well, yeah, that didn't work. I finally found that thing. I clicked a couple times, but now I don't have my reaction. So there's my reactions. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, last week when I raised my hand, whenever somebody else raised their hand, it would demote me down to the next one down. So I was unable to get recognized for raised hand for several, like 5 or 6 times. It's not happening this week, so I don't know what the difference is, but last week I was really getting frustrated because every time I raised my hand, I would be demoted if somebody else raised their hand after me. So I don't know whether that was a setting or what's going on, but anyway,
Your hand just disappeared.
I
but-
know, and I didn't do anything to make it disappear, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
The first
Joan,
time.
did you raise your hand by using reactions or by waving?
I raised it by reactions, and I was wondering, is it possible for you to share your screen of the Zoom people? I
I'm
mean,
sorry, I didn't understand that. Is it possible to what?
share your screen so we could see the carrot that you have on your screen?
Oh,
I don't think it includes the things down at the bottom of the taskbar, but I'll try. Whoops, Stan is sharing his screen right now.
we're not seeing your Zoom screen, Stan.
But it
Okay,
did.
Now Stan has quit sharing and
Were you able to see my gallery view?
No,
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 Well, that's what I was trying to share, and that didn't work. But I'm surprised it allowed me to share without the host saying okay. And
that's
I'm-
because the setting was changed to permit people to share their screen, Stan.
Okay.
all right, I'm now sharing my screen, but what I see being shared is not the
Not showing anything.
it is the sign in, but and the seniors computer group is now up there. Isn't that fascinating?
I just get a big black square.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing right now on Hank's computer screen. But the dilemma here is if you're doing a share screen, you have a different set of controls than when you're not sharing your screen. And you want to see when you're not sharing your screen, the controls that show in the Zoom app, and you can't see them when you're sharing your screen.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Stop sharing. There.
But regarding Joan's question about the carrot, I have carrots on many of the Zoom app icons. I have it on the mute, on the stop video. I have it on participants, chat, show captions, apps. I don't have any on reactions. That's all I'm saying.
I don't either.
Fascinating.
I got them on all of them.
Mhm.
I
Except the
have them
record
on
button.
everything except security and polls.
But that's because you're the host.
The host, yeah.
I have play chime for raised hand, but let me raise my hand and see what happens.
Yeah, nothing happened when I.
No,
used
it's not turning on my,
Maybe
it's not
somebody else. has to
making a
raise
chime or anything. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe that means when somebody raises their hand, their virtual hand, it will play a chime on your computer. It doesn't necessarily mean that your camera is going to notice you're waving your hand in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just put up my hand to see if Will would play a chime.
No, I didn't hear a chime.
Man, there are all sorts of things. I just
Mine didn't. I had mine set and it didn't play. Okay.
Yeah, mine didn't play anything.
I just read the carrot selections on share screen, and it's things like how many participants can share at the same time.
Okay, there's a little note on mine. It says, looks like you're done talking and will lower your hand in 4 seconds.
Really?
That's what mine says.
That's what mine said.
Is that a Mac?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't see that on Windows.
I don't either.
You have to hit cancel.
I think we're well into Q&A.
I think so too.
In case
Yeah, I just
anybody's
discovered
reading.
the escape key. When I hit the escape key, it kills whatever I was doing. So didn't know that before. Okay, we're into Q&A. Anybody have comments, questions, whatever? Elizabeth Smith.
Yes, so the question is this. I used to have Windows 10 on my laptop, and I always use my favorite tool, which is Snips, where I could highlight something and copy it and post it somewhere else. Then for some reason, Microsoft conned me into uploading me onto Windows 11 without my authorization. And since then, I am unable to use Snips. And I have read reviews complaining about the fact that that does not work anymore. So my question to you is, instead of waiting for Snips to work on Windows 11, how safe and how easy would it be for me to backtrack to Windows 10 and get the use of my Snips tool back? That's the question.
So you have about 10 days from the time that you upgrade from 10 to 11 to go backwards. After that, you can't.
Oh, wow. And how can I figure out how many days? How do I figure out when that happens?
Well, again, you don't remember if it was in the last 10 days?
Most likely, yes, but it may have been 15 days. I don't know. All I know is the thing does not work anymore. So assuming for just a moment that I can backtrack, what would I do?
Did you do it through system restore?
Okay. Okay, so either it gives me the opportunity to do it, and then I know it was within the time
Well,
to
yeah,
backtrack.
you do it through the service called System Restore, and you should see that, but you also then just can Google, how can I go back to Windows 10?
Okay,
And it should say, click here and click here.
I see.
Now, if your only issue really is snipping, have you
Yes,
searched for snipping tool in your new Windows 11?
I have, and it's a disaster. I just don't get what I want. It wants to
Okay.
do something other than what I used to do, which was just highlight whatever, do file copy and you know, file save and then put it somewhere else. And I'm unable to do that now.
Let me look. I don't think it's any different than it was before, but let me look here.
Yeah, it should
Please.
work just fine in Windows 11. I've been using it for 6 months now. You hold the Control Shift S key or Control Windows S key.
Control.
I'm sorry, Shift Windows S key. I'm sorry, not Control. Shift Windows S key, and it sets up the snipping screen, and you can choose to snip a freeform snipping or whole screen or portions of it.
Shift Windows S. Okay, I'll try that again.
And then it'll pull up a little, on my machine, it pulls up a little thing at the bottom, a little window at the bottom. And if you click that window, it'll allow you to save it to a file. So you get the option of saving it. It doesn't just, it puts it in your clipboard, but you can also save it to a file. But you have to say, you don't have to save it to a word processor or something, which is nice.
Okay.
Sorry, Ross, go ahead.
Once you have the snipping tool open on your Windows 11, you will
Yes.
see the icon on the taskbar at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
You can right click on that and say pin to taskbar, and it will
Yes.
be there forever.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I do, and it works great.
Thank you.
Okay, Willie?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to use vCard. I was wondering if anybody has done a virtual business card in the group, and what is the easiest way to either use one or make it work. I'm getting ready to go to a reunion of sorts of a bunch of old engineers, and I thought it'd be nice to have a business card that uses the senior computer group as an organization to show people.
vCard is a third-party program.
Well, it's just the concept is that she mentioned it in the lens thing where you take a picture of somebody's business card and automatically sets it up into a contact format. But I've seen it before where you can just hold your phone next to another person's phone and they can share contact information. So if I'm hobnobbing with all my old engineering buddies and they say, "What are you up to?" I can just say, "Well, I belong to the senior computer group here," and it'll give them the link and all the other stuff. Automatically transfers it.
So
by
you
near
just
field.
want a graphic on your phone.
I'm
that's
not
a business
really
card.
sure how. I know vCard is a format, and I just don't know the best way to get to it to make it work. I tried it in Google Sheets and in Excel and in Word. I just don't know how to do it. Lost.
I Googled for that, and it comes up with a whole bunch of tips on how to do it. It looks primarily like it wants you to use Outlook. And what it does is it puts, when you put it in your signature, and so that when someone sees your email with the vCard symbol in it, then they can click on it and it downloads the whole vCard. But it does talk about doing that in Gmail or in other programs.
Yeah, I'm sort of the idea. My concept was if I'm sitting around this lunch next week and somebody says, "Hey, what are you up to?" I can just hold up my phone and say, "Here, copy," rather than having to type out scg.sd.com or whatever.
Well,
I know
again,
there's ways you can just have near field communication and just say, "Put your phone next to mine." It automatically takes my contact information and puts it in their contact. But I just thought, I've gone to the Outlook. I've already made a profile in Outlook. It saves it as a VCF file, but I can't read it. I can't read it unless I look at it in Outlook.
So again, that's what I'm seeing here. My understanding of a V card is something that you use with an email. And you're saying you would rather just be able to transfer it computer, phone to phone without having to use that.
Yeah, I'm pursuing that. I have a week. I got a week to figure it out, but I thought I'd ask if anybody's done that before, where it's just phone to phone.
Can you just do a Word document?
Well, again, he doesn't want to transfer a document. He just wants to transfer the V card information from phone to phone.
Right. If I go to a meeting, if I go to a lunch next week and everybody has cell phones, okay, but nobody has a computer, I can't have them open up Word. They don't may not have Word. They just have either an Android or an iPhone. And I was just kind of hoping that I could just say, here's our group and here's what we do. And it'll take them right to the webpage, to the senior computer group webpage. I can do it with the QR code. That's not an issue.
Will, just to clarify,
along with the V card, it gives you like phone numbers and addresses if you want. If you can put those into the fields, like in Outlook, it gives you the fields you can fill in. Name, address, company, phone number, all that stuff, all business card stuff. And
hang in there.
just to clarify for Will, since he's familiar with databases and records in databases, a V card is basically a record for either an address book or contact list. So it would have all the information, person's name, address, email address, phone number, that kind of stuff. It's a record, okay, for somebody. And so it can be shared, as Willie's trying to do, so it can get from his phone to somebody else's phone's contacts.
All right. I mean, I can do that with an email. I just don't want to have to go into email to transfer it with somebody.
I think you answered your question earlier to me is using a QR code, and you just bring it up and they can point the phone at your QR code and they got it.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I just couldn't find a good way of doing it. I got QR code readers and developers, whatever you call it, creators, QR creators.
Yeah.
But inside that, they don't have there's not a convenient, there's one that I found. That's why I was asking the group if there was any other ones. I found one that was a free, simple, you type in your business card information into a database list and it presents a QR code for you. But the only way that I can extract
a screenshot of that, and then you just present that to your people that you want to have it. Because I don't see how you're going to link your phone to their phone without having to have direct access through an email or text or something else.
Well, can't you just share the contact? I mean, we can share contacts on the iPhone. You know, it's down on your little list of things to do with your contact. You just hit share and it goes off to wherever you want to share it with.
Well, is there a near field communication?
That's not what, no.
Well, there are. I'm just saying, is that what the iPhone uses? I don't know. I can do it with I've done it many times with my Androids. I just hold it next to my phone. Within 3 or 4 feet, it'll just transfer the information that both parties have to accept it. If say I'm transferring, I'm receiving, and if they're close to one another, it'll just transfer it. But I just haven't had that experience with e-cards. So.
Willie, when you figure it out, you come back next week and tell us how to do it.
I will do. Like I said, I got a week.
Sharon?
Yeah, I put something in the chat. I went to Zoom Communities, and Zoom Communities said that if you click the reactions again when you get a countdown, that it'll stop the countdown. So I put that information in the chat and the link. If you read the chat, it tells you how to stop the lowering of the hand when you get a countdown. You click the reactions again, and then that disables it.
Oh, thank you.
And that just came out this morning. Some community member in Zoom.
There's a way to save the chats.
Sure.
I guess I'm asking, how do you do that?
Oh.
I just did a screenshot because
Well,
I don't want all of the stuff that's in there.
If you click on the little 3 dots at the bottom
Of the chat pane.
It'll give you the choice to copy, delete, quote. and
Mine
it'll-
comes up and says, save the chat.
That's
right,
how you
that'll
do
work
it.
too. That'll work too. There's lots of ways,
Okay.
more than one.
Oh, I
And-
just put my hand up to test, and it's true what Sharon said. But it was a long time. So in other words, if you're in
Yes.
line, and your hand is up and you're not talking, say you're the
Yes.
fourth or fifth one, that's when you get canceled.
Yep.
So that was my. So it's basically like before you started talking.
You talk about a countdown. Is there a time that for countdown?
I don't know.
Well, put your hand up and then leave it up for a long time, and then it'll come on. It says, looks like you're done talking when you haven't started. And then the cancel will come up.
Will is basically 4 seconds.
I think it's longer than that.
It's longer than that. I had my hand up for longer than
Yes?
4 seconds.
Okay, because it worked for me with the 4 seconds.
Well, maybe it knew you were gonna be on a hold longer. I don't know.
So you
I've
you
been
have to
on
hold the
longer.
hand up and
Oh,
don't.
okay. I got a window that came up and says, look like you're done talking. So we'll lower your hand in 1 second. And it
Hit
did.
reactions real quick.
Okay, it did. Okay, now I never
Got it.
saw that message before. Learn something new every Saturday.
Well, somebody brought it up. It's great. I'm glad you brought it up, y'all.
Okay, other comments, questions? Don't see anybody with a hand raised.
Yeah, they're all down. That's why.
Okay, Dan, we got you up.
Talk quick.
He's muted. There he goes.
Go ahead, Dan.
Dan,
You're not muted, but we don't hear you.
Just give him a moment. He'll figure it out.
in the meantime, let's listen to Stanley.
Dan can come in, but I have a couple quick comments. One, the reminder that next Saturday is a board of directors meeting. And of course, you're all welcome. But the first 45 minutes to an hour will be the board meeting, and I will be sending out the agenda. So be prepared for that. The other item, in my continuing vexation with my Pixel 6 Pro phone, yesterday I spent an hour unsuccessfully with 611 tech support trying to find out why my calendar icon on my smartphone disappeared, and tech support was not able to get that back up, even though he could view my screen. And I'm just at wit's end, so to speak, on the frustration of this particular phone. I know Ross has indicated all phones have similar learning curves, but this I'm going to try once more at the store today and try to get them to show me how to resurrect my calendar button on the phone. But I don't know if there's any choices. I still have 2.5 years paying on this phone. I'm a year and I'm 6 months out of warranties, and I've been insisting ever since I had it that the phone is flaky, but they never gave me an opportunity or would admit to that, so I couldn't try to get it repaired under warranty.
Anyway, just cry on somebody's shoulder. And I see there's 21 shoulders here to cry on. So I thought I'd take that opportunity.
Okay, so for email on your phone, both either Android or iPhone, you can download from the App Store Microsoft Outlook. Free. And if you happen to be using Outlook on your desktop, that's a better solution because the two then work together instead of being separate programs. So you would use the calendaring program from you can use the calendaring program and or the mail program through Outlook. There's another program called 9Mail. That's a paid for program, but again, you can add that to your phone. That's what I would do. I don't have much luck trying to force a
Testing.
company to fix a problem with their application. I usually just look for an alternative.
I appreciate that. I consider that a bridge too far to have to go to a different calendar because my smartphone won't show me my present calendar. But that may be a solution, and I will investigate that, but that means changing my calendar and contacts, everything over to I can't even remember the name now. Outlook. And okay, I'll consider that. I appreciate your expertise, Ross. And I will seriously consider switching to Outlook. But yes, all right, thank you.
Okay, Dan.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I had to put a microphone on because I wasn't set up with a microphone. I guess this computer doesn't have a microphone, a built-in microphone. I had a difficult morning trying to get to you guys. And I finally looked at my email and found out Hank sent out an email, but it was about an hour late then. So I haven't been with you, but
the recording will be up in a day or so if you want to go back and see what happened before you got here.
okay.
Judy
fine.
has
I just-
already come back to me and fixed the problem. As usual, it was my fault. I'm supposed to set up a whole year of schedules on the AppSug website Zoom system once a year. Of course, I didn't know that, but that's all right. And I won't do it again because she just did it for me for the next year.
Oh, good.
Wait till my 92nd birthday and see if I'm still around.
You'll be around. You're too feisty to leave us.
It's a good thing it happened on your birthday so you can remember it.
Don't count on that.
Saul has his
Birthday party, Hank?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
And we weren't invited?
My neighbors are coming over, and my wife's caregiver has bought a chocolate cake from Zippy's. We're going to have chocolate cake and watermelon, I understand.
Oh, sounds great.
Sounds like a good menu. Yeah.
If you can get
I
here
can drive.
to Kailua in the next couple hours, you'd be welcome.
I'll be there. I might be there.
Okay.
Yeah, Don Raymond,
2
all he
miles
has to
away.
do is get in his car.
Wow.
Saul has his hand up.
Just a question for Hank. Do you know if next week and in the future, we're going to go back to the old link, or are we going to be using the one for this week?
We're not going to be using the one for this week. I think it will be the old link, but I'll send out a message with tomorrow's next week's link.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, I hadn't recognized Elizabeth Smith is a new member, by the way, of our senior computer group, and want to welcome you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Hank, have you tried you're the one in Hawaii, right, Hank, or no?
Yes,
Have you gone to the new subway? I heard there's a new subway in Hawaii.
it's an elevated rail system.
Okay.
And it just opened this last week, and no, I have not been on it. It is originally supposed to run all the way from the southwest tip of the island to Ala Moana Shopping Center, but it got hung up, and it only works between the southwest corner of the island and the stadium, which is pretty close to Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay. So does it go close to the airport?
No, doesn't.
Oh, too bad.
It's not working toward the airport. The supports are there and the station is there, et cetera, but there's problems between the stadium and the airport. A whole bunch of utilities are too close to this elevated rail line and have to be moved, and that's going to cost millions and months.
Wow.
Do they have a
This
name
is
for
new
this
in Hawaii.
elevated?
Millions and months. That's our motto.
Yeah. Do they have a name for this elevated system?
The rail.
The rail. Okay.
I think it has. I think it has another name.
Skyview.
What?
Skyview.
Skyview?
SKY view. Skyview.
Yeah, Sky View.
Oh,
That's the other name.
okay.
Okay, all. I think it's about time to sign off. Last thoughts?
I'll just wish,
Happy 4th. Happy 4th, everybody.
Saul
I
had
have a
his hand
thought.
up. Saul?
Saul?
I'll just wish our
Hello?
I'll wish our two Canadian visitors a good Canada Day.
I was just gonna say that, Saul, you beat me to it.
Can Dan say something?
No, that was me. I said thank you.
No, Dan was asking if he could speak. You can speak, Dan.
Okay. There's a new transportation service that started in San Diego on June the 1st, which is factsd.org, which promises transportation for elderly and disabled for about $10 a ride.
Hmm.
So,
Fact already exists in North County of San Diego.
well,
the
it's
way.
not, it now covers all of San Diego.
Great. Good to hear that.
What was the name of that again?
FACT, fact.
I put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll check the chat. Oh, better check quick, huh? Oh yeah, actually, this was a good day to be in Detroit because Detroit always celebrated Canada Day on July 4th all together. It was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Down at the river. Yeah, it was always nice.
That's nice.
When is the official Canada Day?
Today,
Oh,
thought it was the
today.
second.
Okay.
July the 1st.
That's the first? Okay.
On Hank's birthday.
Yes, yes.
Saw that.
Okay. I haven't turned my
I find it
calendar.
interesting that Canadians come with holidays that are so close to America, like Canada Day, July 1st, July 4th, and then there's Memorial Day, and then so they came up with Victoria's birthday, which is like the week before. We do celebrate Labor Day the same, and Christmas is still the same day.
Oh, okay.
How about Easter?
That too, but not Thanksgiving. That one I can never get used to. Thanksgiving be on a Monday, first of all, and in October. And then you tell the people here, well, it's Thursday, you know, in late November, that's too close to Christmas.
I'd like to thank you all for bringing up the topic of Google Lens. It was interesting.
That was interesting.
I had
Absolutely.
no idea it had that much power.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. I've never used it, so, but I'm gonna be playing with it. Anyway, Enjoy
the face
your
of
day and
it has
have a good
changed
week.
already since it's.
Bye, everyone.
All right,
Bye.
everybody, I'll bid you aloha and see you next week at the board meeting.
Adieu.